What is going on, everybody? We are back once again with another edition of Wrestling Republic's daily broadcast. I'm Clark Taylor. It's Wednesday, September the 25th. You know what that means. Ben Allison, super out of town. He sent me a picture. He's like staying on the ocean at some sort of like mythical place that doesn't look like it exists. As an American, I thought I saw the ocean here in SoCal. It does not look that light blue like it does in Spain. I will say that much. But we've got a sweet crew here on a Wednesday to break down a bunch of news, maybe even a little AEW preview. We're going to dabble in all kinds of subjects. It's basically the Tuesday crew on a Wednesday. The original RC Wednesday, though, is in the building. First and foremost, out in Wales, the host of Take It to the Table, Chaos. What's good?
What's good? What's good? Yes, it's RC Wednesdays back in full effect. I'm excited to be here. Obviously, shout out to Ben Allison. Obviously, he's partying it up in Benidorm. Obviously, having his little dirty weekend. Remember what I said, Ben? What happens in Benidorm stays in Benidorm. All right. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. Obviously, I need to do a quick shout out to we Take It to the Table. The new episode just dropped a few hours ago. Myself. Jordy in the bank. We have the Soul from the Soul Sessions, Shad, and obviously the returning Josh Markowitz is at the table, and we're obviously talking about our current and old-time favorite theme songs, as well as our favorite year of wrestling as a fan, as well as a little game called Blind Rankings of the worst top WWE factions. Yeah, the worst WWE factions. So yeah, that's very interesting. Hot takes all around, even more hotter than when Vince said that man that shall not be named didn't have CTE. So yeah, be sure to check it out after the Daily Show. But let's get straight to it, shall we?
I was gonna say, great call on immediately following the Daily Show. Stay with us, and then when you're bored, right after, tune in to Take It to the Table. You got Chaos, you got Josh Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch. It's gonna be sweet. I'm stoked about it. We're all stoked about it. And speaking of being stoked about it, we've got Mr. Jordy in the bank himself. I'm going to have to toss it right back across the pond. We're going to stay international here if you're over here in the U.S. Jordy, what is good?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. Yeah, it's busy. I was there Tuesday. We filmed a Take It to the Table. I'm back Wednesday. I'm back Friday. I'm putting in the work this week, because like you said, El Jefe himself is in Benidorm living it up. I didn't realize it was Benidorm we went to. I've been there myself. I just don't remember a great deal of it. It was a good holiday. That's all I remember. But I hope he's having a great time, and we are holding down the fort. We've got some great topics, man. I'm excited to talk about it.
I'm excited to get into it. I mean, as the goofy American here, I can't lie. I've never heard of Benidorm. I thought he was
Benidorm.
No, Benidorm.
Whatever it is, Benidorm Ziggler.
It's like a transformer. What the hell?
Made up place. I've heard like 9 different names for it. I don't think it's real. I think you guys are pulling my leg. He's in like Barcelona.
We'll have to go one time. No, it's near Barcelona. It's not that far from Barcelona. It's probably like a few hours.
I asked Ben that, and like obviously he's not a geographer, but like I'm like I've never in my life. What is it actually called?
Benidorm. DORM. Like dorm room. Benidorm.
Benidorm.
Yeah.
Like I've been in a dorm.
There's actually a show. There's a TV show called Benidorm.
It's on Netflix.
Yeah, the first season's okay. It's very representative of what Benidorm in the city is like. It's funny.
I've seen the pictures of the cliffs. It looks gorgeous.
Yeah, no, it is. It absolutely is. But it's got like, it has a strip as well where it's just like bars and like it's a fun place to be. Honestly, I think that was one of the places I was punching a punch bag and missed the punch bag and hit the machine and
That's always good.
Well, fun fact as well. Their national dish is chips and rice. I might be lying.
Wait, is that like chips and rice as in like potatoes and rice?
Yeah, full
They're just
carbs.
they're going carbs on carbs on carbs. Like,
Mhm.
gotta love it. Actually, I respect that. I can't lie. I mean, the pictures of the cliffs, I thought it was a made up place. Like, I was dead convinced. I'm like, there's no way this place exists.
He must have
I've
travelled
never
out a
heard of
bit.
it.
Yeah, he must have travelled out a bit because, like, yeah, I want him to go into the heart of Benidorm on the strip and have a run in with Sticky Vicky and the likes. So
Well,
we'll
and
see.
the irony of it's got Ben in the name. It just seemed
Exactly.
made up.
Ben
The
is in Benidorm.
whole thing seemed made up to me. I'm still convinced it doesn't really exist.
Fair enough.
Whole thing just seems way out there. Okay, we've got a serious topic to get down to. We've got, does Raw need new baby faces? And I mean, look, Jey Uso, big baby face, picks up victory of his life. He's in tears really recently. So I'm not totally sure about this, but I'm going to start with you, Jordy. Obviously, Josh Markowitz had something to say about it. So let's talk about that. What are your thoughts on the babyface scene over on Monday nights?
Well, the initial tweet, so Josh was responding, I believe, and guys, you can get involved with this as well. So Wrestling Republic, I think it was in the broadcast group or it was on one of the stories, and Ben had put something up and said, give us your wrestling hot takes or your WWE hot takes, whatever it was, and Josh is going to react to some of them. And this was the one, and it was posted, and the initial hot take is Raw needs to get new baby faces. Zayn, Jey Uso, and Priest are cringe. And I got so many things wrong with that statement. Like, I don't think this. I understand cringe in wrestling. We've all seen cringe in wrestling. Sami Zayn, Jey Uso, and Damian Priest. None of them are that. I don't think. And I don't necessarily know if Raw needs more baby faces. If you look in that main title picture, yeah, you've got the likes of well, no, maybe, because obviously Gunther's up there, Priest, Zayn, Jey Uso's in the Intercontinental Championship. Does it need a couple more baby faces? I would say no. I think we're okay right now with the ones that we've got. Maybe one more, maybe throw one more in, but I certainly don't think it needs it. I like the dynamic on Raw at the minute, and I was kind of saying last night and singing the praises of Raw and saying how consistent I think it's been in the recent weeks. So I don't think so. I do have to disagree with it. I don't think it needs more baby faces. Could it do with them? Yeah, of course it could. But the reasoning behind it is because Jey, Sami, and Damian is cringe. I don't buy it. I don't buy it.
That is where I'm in total agreement with you on this, Jordy. I mean, look, I could see the idea that maybe Raw needs more baby faces, but Sammy's cringe. Stop it. Stop it. Knock it off on that. Damian Priest, since being paired with Ripley at this stage, I might have said cringe in the middle of the Judgment Day run. Not right this second.
Punk as well, like people like that. Obviously, Punk and Drew, this rivalry is going to culminate soon.
It's going to finish soon. Ironically, as well, Brandon's Your Edition, I really hope I got that right, over on Instagram commented, it's SmackDown that actually needs more baby faces. And I'm kind of with you. And if we're talking cringe, everyone knows my thoughts on Cody. Chaos. Do you think there is a babyface problem on Monday nights? Or let's add to the equation here. How about Friday nights?
First off, what an asinine comment. I'm sorry, Josh. I love you, but come on, man. There's no problem. It's stacked as it is, and like you say, I think the reason is people are saying that there's a babyface issue is just that quite a few of them are in kind of like meaningless feuds or in groups. Like for one, Rey Mysterio, he can easily be a top person, but is obviously stuck with the LWO. Obviously you got Kofi. Eventually, him and Xavier Woods, they're going to clash. That could be a decent mid-card feud. I'm just looking at the roster right now. Obviously, you got Sheamus as well. He's doing great. Seth Rollins is also a top babyface already. He's just obviously out with an injury or whatever it is. R-Truth, obviously, Alpha Academy. They're still quite fun. They still get a good pop. That's still a good babyface. Sure, they might not be fighting for the main title and stuff, but if people are saying that they need baby faces for the main titles, I think they're spacing out quite decently. There's no reruns of old feuds or anything like that. Gunther, sure, obviously the Sami Zayn feud is obviously being rerun since they faced at Mania, but this is for a different title and it's a different situation, so it kind of refreshes it a bit. After when Gunther plows through Sami Zayn, I'm sorry, Gunther's not going to lose the title to Sami. Then it's going to move on to CM Punk, which is, there you go, a top babyface. So yeah, I don't think there is a dilemma or there's a cry for roster change. SmackDown, you might make an argument that it needs to be more baby faces, but they only got 2 hours. I don't think that there's and that's another thing as well. How many people do you want on Raw, especially when it's being stripped back to 2 hours for a while? And whatever happens when they go to Netflix. So I think now it's not really the time to say that, or there's a cry for new baby faces or a whole new roster change. The roster's been fun, in my opinion, both for the men's roster and the women's roster. And yeah, we just have to just see where we stand after the Netflix deal goes, and once we get obviously all these current feuds out of the way. But yeah, I don't think there's any issue regarding the roster and a cry for top baby faces or anything in SmackDown. I think it's a decent balance. I don't wish a certain member should be on the opposite show, not necessarily as what other people say. So yeah, that's where I stand on that.
I really like it, Chaos, and I think it's fair. I think it's absolutely fair. I don't know. Here's my problem with the whole thing. I think babyfaces are the most difficult booking we have in pro wrestling, period, right this second. It's really hard to navigate good babyfaces. Like, it's hard to root for somebody for a long time. It's almost easier to have somebody go through a narrative cycle where they're sadistic, they're a heel, we see what they're truly capable of first, and then find a sympathetic trait in them. And so that's
the Negan effect.
That's where it's tough for me when it comes to the whole conversation about babyfaces. I'm a heels guy personally. They all seem cooler to me. Who are the ones you want to hang out with after school? Mostly heels. Like, honestly, even though they're scummy and you know it, like, there's something about that right this second in pro wrestling where it's hard. I mean, I make fun of Cody, and yes, a lot of it's tongue in cheek, but it is just hard to be the moral compass of professional wrestling and be easy to cheer for at the same time. Just, I think audience wise, it's a different, and we've seen it before, like with Stone Cold and with tweeners and with all kinds of, Swerve and Hangman switched sides, 50 times over in AEW? But it's just, I do believe the babyface side of the coin is the more difficult side to book right now. You just see a lot more success with heel behavior. Look at Roman Reigns is probably the biggest babyface in WWE right this second, if you really think about it. It's either him or Cody.
It all depends on the person. My counter is that obviously Stone Cold Steve Austin was a face. When he went heel, that's arguably, like, even he doesn't really like it when he was a heel. Or he had some reservations of turning heel at WrestleMania 17. Same with The Rock. Rock gets a pass because he's been great both as a face and a heel. But I think it all depends on each wrestler. I don't know. I don't think it necessarily means you get more success out of them as a heel more than the babyface.
Like, Cena's a perfect example, because the fact that he didn't turn heel is what made him a heel. And then it became let's go Cena sucks, and that era of Cena. And I think then it's like, yeah, you're not a heel, but it's almost like it's like an anti-tweener. It's like, yeah, you're not a heel, but you're getting booed. You're a face, but you're getting booed. So
only because we're rolling on it. I'll give 3 examples as counterpoints. Austin, in the first place, when he cut the Austin 316 says, I Just Whooped Your Ass was supposed to be the heel against Jake Roberts. It didn't exactly turn out that way, right? You have Shawn Michaels was supposed to be the heel, two dudes with attitudes with Kevin Nash. Then later again in DX, it always led to him being the ultimate babyface, especially in his return with Triple H in the unsanctioned match and whatnot. You look at guys, it happens all the time where they're supposed to be the ultimate bad guy, but the crowd does get behind him. Even the beginning of the Yes movement, that would be my third example. He was supposed to be heelish in the Wyatt family. Crowd didn't accept that. Then the Yes movement began because the crowd was clearly behind him. But when he put the overalls on, the intention was not to have Daniel Bryan be the sympathetic figure. It's just, they're difficult waters to navigate, not just today, but historically. But today, I just think it's even harder because you get somebody that feels cool and you want to root for him. Roman Reigns being the perfect example. Roman Reigns shouldn't have been able to catch Cody.
People didn't want to root for him 6 months ago, though.
Years, but now
that's what I mean. Yeah, that's what I was on about before. Where it is that Negan effect. Like when I watched The Walking Dead for the first time, the first thing I saw him do was bash one of my favorite characters' head in. But about 2 seasons in, I was like, I want him to be a good guy because he's so cool. I want him to come on our team. And Roman Reigns has had that, and he got it in the minute he went, and people were chanting "Thank you, Roman" and stuff like that. And I've said before, I think that face turn started at the Hall of Fame when he gave Paul the intro. I think that was Joe talking about Paul, and I think it wasn't Roman anymore, and everyone was like, "Oh shit, I love this guy actually, really." Do you know what I mean? Like, and. Yeah, so I agree. I think Roman, in a sense, is the biggest babyface, but it's always about. That's why it takes so long to build the biggest stars, because we watch them go through peaks and troughs, ebbs and flows. They have good moments, they have bad, and eventually they have a really good heel run, and then followed by that is usually a really good face run where it's like we've seen what they're capable of, so we know they've got that in them, but they're doing the right thing as a face of the company. It is, I agree, it's tricky waters to navigate. You need the right people, and that's one thing. Back to the original point, I do think that they have the right people, to be fair. I think that they've got that in abundance. I think so many people are behind Sammy. He's such a lovable character. I think Priest right now is in that phase of what you were talking about. Right. Of we've seen him as a heel and he's turned face, and then Jey Uso is, again, argument for one of the biggest faces in the company. So those three as examples. Well, to clarify quickly, that wasn't Josh that said that, by the way. Josh was replying to a hot take. So that wasn't Josh's point.
Oh, okay.
Josh is with us. Josh said, I completely disagree with that comment.
Okay, cool. Silly. All right. Love you, Josh. Thank you.
Yeah, you're the man, Josh. We knew it. I knew it the whole time. Okay, no, but seriously, let's jump through the next topic decently quick, just because we spent a lot of time on that one, but well-deserved time. We've got the top 3 initial opponents for Jey Uso. So we'll stick around Roman Reigns since we mentioned him enough times recently. Jordy, I'm going to go to you. Do you have 3 off the top of your head, or even 1 or 2, no matter what you got?
I can give you 3 off the top of my head quite easy because there's Raw's stacked. Raw is stacked. Like, I'm not going to use Braun as a rematch just because I think it's cheap. Dom Mysterio, I think, is a simple one, given the stuff with Rhea. I think that would be a great... And just because the Judgment Day are involved, I don't think Jey will lose it that quick, but when the Judgment Day are there, you never know, some shenanigans. Bronson Reed is another one. I think the work that he's been putting in and stuff, and I've got a feeling that Braun Strowman might head towards a feud with the Wyatts, so I feel like Bronson might then head towards Jey Uso. And the third one, bit of a curveball, I guess, but would people be interested in seeing Damian Priest and see what dynamic that leaves between Rhea and Damian? And I don't know. So yeah, they're the 3 that I'm going to throw in, because like you said, we spoke quite a lot about the first subject, so I'll get them 3 out of the way quickly.
Definitely a rock solid top 3. Do you have anyone to add, Chaos, quickly before I read an ad?
God, you put me on the spot right now.
Gable.
Sorry?
Gable. Sorry, I forgot to mention Chad Gable.
Yeah, Gable is a possible one, but I don't know what's his situation right now. I just feel like he's just doing random feuds. I don't know if he's really truly over with the Wyatt Six, but which by the way, I hope they are. I definitely, it's just so jumbled now. I definitely want to see him go against Sammy. I don't know why. Him against Sammy, you know, because it's kind of like in limbo right now. They all talk about going for the tag team titles, and then Sammy just goes and F's ups and does his own thing, trying to go for the world title. Just left Jey in the lurch. I'm just like, what's all this talk? I don't know. Dom, I agree. I don't know how Damian will actually go with interfere. Maybe Finn. I think more Finn will probably after the feud with Damian concludes. Then the last one, Rey Mysterio. There you go. I can't think of anything.
Love it. Mysterio. Shout out Ray. Speaking of shout outs, if you guys haven't checked out Next Level yet, please do. It's all of our stuff. One place. Go to nxconnect.me/Wrestling Republic. All of our content across all platforms linked all in one place. It's absolutely free to download, easy to find. You can check out all of our stuff right there. But let's keep it rolling here into our next subject. This is going to be an interesting one. Chaos, I'm going to go right back to you. Speaking of putting you on the spot here, Bad Blood. Which of these matches that we're looking forward to should be the main event?
Nia Jax versus Naomi or Bayley. No, I'm joking. No. Look, like I've said this from the beginning. I said it on the show. I said it in the GC. They brought back this pay-per-view for a reason, and it shows that this is where feuds come to conclude, especially the more deeper feuds. Obviously, you got one maybe throwaway, which I guess is as I said earlier, the Nia Jax versus Bayley or Naomi. That's not really a blood feud, but Rhea and Liv have been going at it for months. CM Punk and McIntyre have been going at it for months. Who else is on that card? Those are the two matches.
Damian and Finn.
Damian and Finn has been going on for flipping almost a year. Like,
yeah.
God knows. It's been going for these are like long-term feuds that are finally coming to a head. And again, it's on the 25th anniversary of Hell in a Cell, one of the most legendary match types of all time. Sure, it's had some good matches, and it's also had some low points. Please see Seth Rollins versus The Fiend. But they have to celebrate it. And they're doing it the best way possible. I feel like if it was under the old regime, I feel like they would just absolutely cocked it all up. I don't think it would be as exciting as how I feel about this PLE. But going back to the question, who I think deserves to have the main event, as much as I love the Bloodline saga, it has to go to CM Punk and McIntyre. I think that one is the most personal, and just the most engrossing. And I feel like the fact that they've actually kept this feud hot, whilst Punk was injured, from the Rumble till SummerSlam, that's what, six months. That's a crazy feat on its own, and half the time Punk was even really there. But they kept it hot. They had great matches. I love their match at Bash. I love their match at SummerSlam, and I think it's only fair, not just because you have to do it for anniversary's sake, but just the fact that they kept it interesting this whole time, and this should be the final battle between them two. It's going to be them.
I'm in complete agreement. I think it should be the absolute payoff, and I think it should be the absolute final match of the night. My one caveat, Chaos, and I don't know if you're in agreement with me on this, and same with you, Jordy, but I thought this lent more to Hell in a Cell or I Quit than it did. I'm sorry, to I Quit or Last Man Standing, as opposed to Hell in a Cell. Hell in a Cell, I love the idea of that, but we're not locking anybody out. I get that that's supposed to be the ultimate, but I mean, after Punk even made fun of his own win in the Four Corners, the strap match, right? He's like, for touching Four Corners. I think I Quit or Last Man Standing, or even if it's I Quit Cell like they did with Jey and Roman, I think makes more sense for the end of this rivalry than just sell. And I hate saying just sell. That sounds so ridiculous. But I don't know. That would be my only complaint about the whole thing.
I think if it wasn't the 25th anniversary and it was the first time they brought back Bad Blood, that was a lot of B's, in so long, then yeah, I would maybe agree. But I just think that there's something Punk and Drew, they gave a nod to an old school match with Taker, with the whole Seth as a special guest referee. I think these two, as people, really have a lot of time for the generation before them, and I think 100%. they will really actually want to. It won't surprise me if we get an aesthetic where Punk is wearing something that's inspired by Shawn Michaels, and Drew will be wearing his big Undertaker-looking jacket again. That all of a sudden he seems to have brought out of the bag. So. Yeah. I don't know. They're my only thing as well. Sorry. No, you go, Chaos, because this is slightly different.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
We'll get to that I was just going to say, got plenty of time now. We're back on track.
Yeah. Fair enough. No, I was just going to say, like, there is another reason why they're bringing this pay-per-view back. We're going to see color. And I feel like out of any of the feuds that is on this card, this is where you're going to see heads busted open. And like I said, they're slowly... that, obviously we're moving into the Netflix era, and it's going to be more edgier and stuff. And they've been drip feeding us over the past year with the swear words and letting guys bleed and stuff. I feel like they're going to go full pelt here. And yeah, like I said, if of all the feuds that are going on in this PLE, this is the one. And they've said it in their promos. I'm going to make you. It's not like the old regime where they're going to say, I'm going to maim you. I'm going to rip your head off. And we ain't going to see that.
Yeah.
And I think that's a clever move. That is a clever move. That's what they're saying now. If they get a load of off-com complaints and a load of complaints of mad parents saying, I'm mad that my kid saw blood, they're going to be like, well, it was called Bad Blood. We made it very clear in the build-up that there was going to be blood involved. So it's like, you're very much just... painting it on. It's like we're gonna bleed, but the thing that I was gonna say, and it's one of them things, fortunate, unfortunate, and why potentially, and Clark, you'll understand this more than me, why Cody and Roman could be the main event is because with it being in Atlanta, Georgia, where Cody and Roman have a territorial battle, one being hometown and one saying I own this place because I played football here and it was my pitch, it was my stadium, so it's my city. And it's like, does that warrant being main event over it? It could. I don't know. So that's why I'm just like, it's so. If it was anywhere else in America, in the world, I would be like, it's a no brainer that it's a Hell in a Cell. But because it's there, I'm like, a conversation maybe has to be had. But I don't know.
It'll be co-main. They ain't gonna open the show. I mean, Roman ain't gonna open the show for nobody. So I think he'll settle for co-main. He's not the champ anymore, so he can't really call anything. So
yeah, Anthony Manzano added, I think it would have made sense to make it more interesting having the Hell in a Cell as a last stage of 3 stages for CM Punk. That's fair. But here's what I will say. I actually am very much in agreement with Jordy on the Georgia aspect, because this is where it's really interesting. We're really pushing Roman to the top as a babyface here. Georgia Tech is actually in Atlanta. Cody is a known University of Georgia fan, which is in Athens, Georgia. That is not in Atlanta. It's not the same. Mm-hmm. Yes, he lives in Atlanta. Yes, he has ties to Atlanta. Pending the crowd that is in the building for this one, if it was Roman Cody, could be a nightmare because it could be very pro-Roman. Mm-hmm. Georgia Tech is actually in the city, and that's why they did it there. But I found it interesting. There was no reference to Cody being a Dogs fan. And Georgia has been the most dominant college football team in the game the last few years. He has been at every national championship with he and Brandy wearing red and black in the stands. That is a Georgia Tech rival. And that wasn't played on for him to walk on the field at Tech and act like it's all good in the suit. To me was, as a sports fan, heelish in and of itself, right? Like, who are you to walk on the field at Georgia Tech and act like you own the city? You're a Georgia guy. You're a Dogs fan. Like you're a known Dogs fan. Mm-hmm. That's where he says it, where he would have gone to school to wrestle if he could have. There's no wrestling program at Georgia, so he didn't, right? He went to acting school. He says that in his own documentary. Mm-hmm. It's interesting. It's interesting because I do believe Tech has a wrestling program. ironically. But and Roman Reigns being one of the best defensive linemen to ever play at Georgia Tech, right? His health is what caused him to not have an NFL career. His statistics.
And then just to go on and become Roman Reigns as well. Like, imagine how cool that'd be. Like, one of your best defensive linebackers of all time then goes on to become the tribal chief. Like, that's awesome.
It's pretty iconic. Cool. When if you look at what he was built like in college to play the position that he did, the way that he's had to change his body to become the tribal chief.
And what he's been through as well, medically, obviously. So,
yes, another layer. It's like,
how can you not love that guy?
You really, it's almost impossible. Okay, before we finish up today, get the ones up, absolutely. Before we finish today's show, let's break down Dynamite Grand Slam. The U.S. Open of tennis is over.
But it's on tonight? Damn.
Arthur Ashe is still open. They will be in New York. It's Grand Slam time. I'll break down the card really quick for you guys, and then I'll get some predictions from you. So early in the show, we've got the Hookster. As everyone knows, I'm the leader of the Hookamaniacs, taking on Roddy Strong. Roddy's neck's strong now. No more neck brace. Big match there. FTW title. Maybe the end of the FTW title. Maybe not. We'll see. I'm sure Taz will be in the building. And it's home court advantage, to say the least, for the Hookster. And that one, we've got another title on the line here. The Young Bucks defend the AEW tag team titles against Will Ospreay and Kyle Flowchart, or at least that's what his hair looks like. Those two challengers, legit challengers. We all know how good Ospreay is. Is there a shot they win this one? I don't know. We'll get to that. Another one, AEW Women's World Championship on the line. Mariah May versus Yuka Sakazaki. My apologies. We'll see about that one. Then we've got Dream Match Alley right here. The one we've all been waiting for. We might have thought we'd see it in London. We didn't. We saw a return in London. Now we get the payoff. One of the greatest rivalries in the history of wrestling. If you haven't watched your ROH, you need to go back and watch these two. Bryan Danielson, Nigel McGuinness in New York City. Come on, it doesn't get much better than that. And then in the main event, Darby Allin has put his AEW World Championship title shot on the line for whatever reason against Jon Moxley, accompanied by Marina Shafir. And then in the real main event, Chaos, because I'm going to go to you first. The real main event, the only thing I didn't announce, Prince Nana is going to give us an update on Swerve. And so they're going to give Nana a mic, and I'm fired up about that. I'm excited to dance. I like to swerve when I drive. What are you looking forward to most? Any predictions coming out of this show? What do you got going, Chaos?
First off, I think I'm going to have to disappoint you. That Prince Nana thing is just going to be a quick 2-minute and backstage. And then that's it. Moving swiftly on. But yeah, I was just looking at the card myself, and the one I'm definitely looking forward to is Saraya versus Jamie Hayter. No, I'm joking. The one I'm really looking forward to is definitely the Bryan Danielson versus Nigel McGuinness. I briefly remember his time in TNA, and I remember how fun he was in the thing was Fortune. Or was it Main Event Mafia? No, yeah, it was Fortune. Yeah. Like it was great seeing him at All In. His match against Bryan Danielson, even though Danielson is pretty much held together by duct tape and cotton wool and everything else. But yeah, I think it'll be a great match. The Jon Moxley versus Darby Allin, I think Jon Moxley's going to win. I think he's going to be the one that's going to take the title from Danielson. It just makes sense storyline wise. God knows why Darby Allin is putting his title shot on the line, you idiots, but that's Darby Allin. Hook against Roderick Strong should be good. I'm tired of this FTW championship. Please get rid of it. It doesn't even mean anything anymore. Like, it's been dragged through the mud thanks to Jericho. Get rid of it. Hook needs to get something more solidified. Go for the TNT, the something else. There's something else more substantial. But yeah, those are the two matches: Jon Moxley and Darby Allin, and Bryan Danielson and Nigel McGuinness. Everything else is pretty much just filler to me. But yeah, it should be a decent show. I don't know who is going to answer Jack Perry's open challenge though. That should be interesting though.
That should be interesting. I'm fascinated by the Jack Perry part of this equation too. And I agree with you on Danielson McGuinness is the one I'm looking forward to most. The Darby storyline makes sense, but it does feel very telegraphed with Moxley going over. It's just like, ugh. Jordy, can you shed some light on this? Is there anybody that you're looking forward to specifically? Are you at least going to dance with Nana if they give him the mic longer than 4 minutes, as Chaos said?
I'll dance with Nana if I've got to. No, yeah, I think same as you guys. The Danielson McGuinness one is the one that stands out for obvious reasons. It's always fun to see these guys wrestle in AEW, people like Ospreay and stuff. But there's something about, and this is where I will praise AEW as well. When Punk was there and they ran back the whole Samoa Joe thing, and I just think they do a great job of bringing rivalries to light that maybe a lot of people, myself included, weren't aware of, and shed light on past great work, as well as obviously looking forward and putting it on a bigger stage now, somewhere that I guess it deserves to be. Danielson wrestling's always great. It does feel very retirement tour to me a little bit. Obviously, I know it's not coming anytime soon, but ticking off one of your old rivals and being like, oh yeah, let's throw it down one last time on the big stage. It just does feel that obviously, and I know we know his days are numbered in the ring, but it's just sad to think about. But no, yeah, the rest of the card, mate, it's solid. Mariah May, I always enjoy watching her wrestle. I can't really grumble too much. I agree with what you guys said about Hook completely. Think that he's got something. I can't lie. I think he maybe gets a little bit of hate here and there, but I just book him in a storyline that's got a bit of meaning, that means something, and then let's see what he's got, because I do think there's something there. I have to admit.
When it comes to the Hookster, I am in agreement. Shockingly, I am the leader of the Hookamaniacs. I do believe Hookamania should continue to run wild, but this is an opportunity for him to present that title to his dad in New York City and retire it for good. And end this storyline and put a stamp on it. And if that's the moment that we're building to, I'm cool with it. I'm cool with that.
Okay,
I'm like, it's a fitting ending in the moment in and of itself in Queens, close enough, right? Just a bridge drive away from good old Red Hook. If the Hookster gets this done, I'm all for that. The other one that we didn't talk a lot about is that tag team title match.
No one cares.
I hear you. And say what you will about the Bucks. And I agree, the build isn't great, but there aren't that many times. There's no denying the Young Bucks wrestling acumen and their resume when it comes to their work in New Japan and their history. And Will Ospreay's acumen in the same regard. If something is going to steal the show and surprise us tonight,
oh yeah,
that's the one I'm looking at, where it's like, the Young Bucks, Will Ospreay, and that is not even to knock Kyle Fletcher. I love making fun of his hair, but that's the only thing I like making fun of, because the guy bell to bell is really, really good.
100%.
I'll fully admit that. This is the one that I think it's on, and you kind of get into it and you don't even realize you are, and you're like, whoa, big moment, big spot after big spot, pace at a level that you don't normally see people capable of working. As much as weak build Chaos, you're exactly right. Exactly right. Right?
Yeah.
Nobody cares right this second. It's the one, as far as the card is concerned, that stands out to me that could surprise us the most.
Oh yeah. Well, one thing that I think Jordy said about telegraphing. I telegraphed that Kyle is going to turn on Will Ospreay in this one as well. I forgot to say. I was meant to say that, but yeah, there's no way they're going to win the titles, and there's no way that nothing's going to happen afterwards. So yeah, I feel like Kyle is gonna, and then the Don Callis family's against Will. I feel.
I have a weird feeling though they get close enough that we watch it and we go, that was pretty good. Yeah, that was pretty good. That's kind of just the my gut instinct when it comes to that one. Overall, I've always actually enjoyed the fact that they run this venue and this crowd. I really hope it turns out like it did in the early days of Grand Slam, where the crowd is that hot. I understand that the 1 year where it was the most packed, there were issues with concessions and everything coming off of the U.S. Open of tennis and
Mhm.
whatnot. I think that's all been solved, and I think we're in store for at least I would say a better than above average AEW Dynamite tonight
Oh
when
yeah.
it comes to this one, especially when you have Danielson and McGuinness. I mean, if you told me that 5 years ago, I'd have laughed in your face, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
right.
Now, don't get me wrong. Yeah, when it comes to their specials on TV with Dynamite, they always hit it out of the park, even from the early days of
Yeah.
Fighter Fest and was it spring? It's not spring breaking. What's the other one?
Winter's coming, spring break.
Winter's coming. Yeah, they're
I mean,
them ones
Winter's
I
coming with
always look forward to.
Sting.
Sorry.
Winter is coming with Sting.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like it's they always hit it out of the park, 5 years straight. So with Grand Slam, I know obviously everyone's gonna be chiming in about attendances and all that stuff. I don't really care about that. It's all about what I'm seeing on TV and the match quality. And when it comes to that, they always hit it out of the park for these. So
I think so, no doubt. I mean, with that though, I can't believe we got ahead of ourselves. We caught up. This is pretty amazing for us three. It's been a heck of a Wednesday show. Go watch Take It to the Table right away.
Oh,
if
yes.
you're not busy, put it on. If you're in your car, listen to it audio only. Plug it into the aux cord. What are you doing? It's
get
gonna be
YouTube
great.
Premium sorted. There you go. You can have it in the background.
quick spoiler.
Yeah,
Soul chose Chelsea Green's theme song as his favorite current theme
Yeah,
song.
that was weird.
Crazy.
And his old time was Bree mode. That was really surprising. Yeah.
He did pick Bree mode. I knew that was Soul's jam this whole time. If you haven't smashed like and subscribe, please do that. It helps us out a ton. On behalf of me, Clark Taylor, Jordy, Chaos, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll be back same place, same time tomorrow. It's noon Pacific, 8 over in the UK. That's 3 o'clock on the East Coast, 9 a.m. in Hawaii. It's 4 a.m. in Manila. Monster shout out, Coach 23. Everyone have an excellent Wednesday evening, afternoon. I don't know where you are geographically, but I'm out of here. We're all out here. Talk to you later.
Yeet.